right, I'd like to call to order this special meeting of the Lake Lure Town Council this Tuesday, April 10, 2018 at 4:30 p.m. Our first order of business is the agenda adoption. I see that we have one item on the agenda. Does anybody on the commission here have any additions? I hope no subtractions.
Make a motion to adopt the agenda.
We have a motion to adopt by Commissioner Weber. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Commissioner Cameron. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Moves us to public comment. I don't have the sheets, but there's not many members of the public. Does anybody want to comment? Seeing none, we'll move on to item number 4, new business. We have one item of new business, Parks and Recreation Trust Fund application. This is for the property at 176 Boys Camp Road Park, which we have recently purchased. There is Ron Nally, I guess, is going to handle the presentation of information.
Did you get those? Do you want me to make copies?
Well, they work out.
Yeah, we
Okay.
can.
I just want to make sure you have. All right, thank you, Mayor. Tonight we have a little bit odd request. I know y'all have done this in the past, so it's not all that unfamiliar to you. But we are in the process of applying for a Parks and Recreation Trust Fund grant. The trust fund was money that was put aside by the state each year for the development of parks and recreational property, for the purchase or development of parks and recreational property. And one of the requirements of part of is to hold a meeting outside of your regular meeting. So that's why it's a special meeting. And I know we did this with the Morris Park plan about a few months ago. So like I said, somewhat familiar with it. What I wanted to do was just a quick overview of the project itself. And then if you have any questions, certainly be glad to answer those. All right. As y'all know, in 2014, the board adopted the Rocky Broad River Gateway Plan, small area gateway plan, and that's what's on the screen there for you tonight. It identified this area as an important redevelopment area. It identified 7 properties, of which the purchase is one of those. And it is approximately 2.68 acres along the confluence of course, the Rocky Broad and Lake Lure. It doesn't have a point, so I'll get to that in a second. There we go. You'll see here the property layout, and this is more specifically the property that's identified, the 2.68 acres. Y'all see that all right? Okay, there we go. So the property that's outlined in red is the 2.6 acres that's identified in the grant request. It's a little unique in that the town has already purchased this site, and while we cannot announce this on our application, we did receive a waiver to purchase this site with the possibility of getting future funding. So that's why when you look at the grant proposal, it's worded a little bit differently. It's actually like we haven't purchased it, but in this case, unique case, we have already purchased this piece of property.
What's the purpose for that? So the board that approves the grants won't be swayed one way or another?
That's correct. Yeah, it was reviewed at the local level, but the Parks and Recreation Trust Fund Board would review it at the regional level. So they don't want to be swayed one way or the other on your grant application. So it's measured against all the other acquisition properties across the state. As you know, it's a beautiful site, mostly located in the floodplain. The one outstanding feature, of course, of the property is the dock. And I don't recall exactly how long it is. Do you?
I think 440. I believe.
Yeah,
Well, the shoreline's 440, I think the dock's 400.
400. So again, an outstanding piece of property, the old campground. And we were asked, as part of this grant process, to go ahead and put together a site plan. And again, this is not set in stone because there's a planning process that goes with the development of and use of the Part F money. But this just gives them some idea of what you would like to do with the property. And as was identified when we first purchased the property, future recreational uses included river and lake access, a takeout area for paddling and the water taxi, bicycle rentals, tent camping, greenway connections, restroom, and parking. So you'll see the orange in the map is future development. So that's the campsites down below, the parking up above, the restrooms and rental facility up top near the road with the parking area. Now, the purchase price of $250,000 can be offset by a 50% matching grant. You'll also see in your packet there is a budget for that piece of property. Oh, I should mention, first of all, we did have the property appraised, and I'm not sure if you can read it back there. The appraisal for the property came back at $348,000, and we purchased the property for $250,000.
And that's with no appraisal on the dock.
That's correct. That's the land.
That's just on the property.
The land value.
Yeah.
So what, an estimate on the value of that dock, 100,000?
I've heard 100,000. Yeah.
So yeah, that would be at today's dollars to install something like that at least.
Uh-oh.
If I can make a comment from the audience on that, legally within the context of your meeting, I would say that $100,000 is probably conservative for the amount of money for the value of that dock. The little dock that we put in over by the ABC store 3 or 4 years ago was $11,000. And this dock along the river is much more sophisticated than that. It's anchored differently, and the facilities that are on it are substantially more.
Thank you. So in response to this grant proposal, we have put together a estimated project cost for the grant itself. You'll see the primary is the land acquisition, $250,000. Incidental land acquisition costs, you're able to go up to 10%. We have done most of ours within that 5%, or within that 5%, I should say. So we're requesting 5% for incidental land acquisition cost reimbursements of $12,500, which brings the total acquisition cost to $262,500. As I said earlier, it's a 50-50 match, so Partif will hopefully reimburse us for $131,250, and the town would be required to put up the other $131,250. As I said, it's unique in that we have already spent the money to purchase the property. So with that, unless there's any other questions, the resolution is in front of you. And the resolution just confirms really what I have said, authorizes us to go ahead and file the application, and also states that the match is available and that we'll meet the state and federal guidelines for the purchase. Do you have any questions?
I think it was a good purchase for a community, a long-term planning.
All right, so we have a resolution in front of us. Anybody want to make a motion? We adopt this resolution 180410.
I'll make the motion that we approve resolution 180410, approving the application and availability of the local match for the purchase of property located at 1676 Boys Camp Road.
Commissioner Cameron makes the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Commissioner Weber seconds. Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, well, I believe then, with that item completed, we now move to our final item of the
I'll make a
agenda.
motion, we adjourn this special meeting.
You see that?
Okay, we have a motion to
I'll
adjourn.
second.
And a second by Commissioner Cameron. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
That's a deal.
You said-
Cost a deal.
I know.